Skyrim. We have all heard the jokes about it just continuously being re-released on different platforms. Amazon even made a short playable version for its Alexa devices. But it is a game ingrained in our memories, and if there is something special about Skyrim, it's in its ability to allow you to create such a wide variety of characters and really use your imagination to roleplay those characters in its expansive world. One of the beautiful things about role-playing games is character creation. It's this moment where the player gets a hand in shaping how their character will interact with their digital world. Some games you take control of a predetermined character and then get a hand in shaping them as you play the game, in the case of Geralt in The Witcher 3. But while you can shape some of the characteristics of Geralt, you are still bound within his box. You are tethered to his past and personal history. In other cases, you get to shape your character during creation. You get to put talent points into the stats and abilities you want. You get to pick and choose what your character looks like, such as in Knights of the Old Republic. But once again, the game will set you on a path in a predetermined story which you are pretty much tethered to. The game is bound within the confines of the story. Now, the beautiful thing about Skyrim is that the game is unconcerned about your past, and at the same time, they start you off with a completely blank slate and you simply level up and become more powerful as you do actions in the game. If you want to become better at archery, you shoot more bows. If you want to be better at lockpicking, you keep picking locks. It's a beautifully simple system and allows for some really robust character creation. Skyrim is not only important in that it gives you a blank slate, but also in the openness of its world. Some games, like Obsidian's The Outer Worlds, lets you play their game in a wide variety of manners, but you are still stuck going down the same relative path every time you play the game in terms of story. Skyrim, on the other hand, gives you this world that is full of all sorts of adventures and quest lines and caves and towers and hideouts that seem almost limitless, and the game is entirely unconcerned whether you do the main quest line or not. You can head out and find adventure in all different forms. It is large enough that there's probably some part of the map you haven't fully explored yet and still have quests to discover. The power of imagination and being willing to commit to a character is what can really bring Skyrim to life. It allows some of the quest arcs you can complete make a little more sense. Sure, you could make one character who does it all, is the Dragonborn, leader of the Thieves Guild, a master assassin in the Dark Brotherhood, the Companions, the Mage Guild, and so on and so forth, but that isn't quite as fun or unique as making some real fun characters to specialize in these places. At the moment, I'm currently playing with 3 characters with entirely different paths and getting a large amount of satisfaction and breathing new life into the game with different playstyles and different backstories. The first character I have is Esper. She is a young woman who is shunned for her ability to use magic by her village and was chased out of her town with the help of the Imperials. She ends up being arrested and put in the wagon at the start of the game, and after she escapes, she has a desire to find out more about her ability to use magic at the College of Winterhold, and she also wants to join the Stormcloaks in their fight against the Imperials. She is a primarily magic user, but isn't afraid to grab a sword and get in a fight when needed. She isn't a character that would join the Thieves Guild or the Dark Brotherhood, and when she accomplishes what she has set out to accomplish, I will probably just retire her. For a character that prefers to stick to the shadows, I have a Khajiit named Persykins, whom I modeled and named after one of my cats. Persykins came to Skyrim to prove that he could come to a foreign land and rule the underworld. He isn't interested in becoming a hero. He's interested in making money and proving himself as the best. He is confident, maybe even a little arrogant, but he gets the job done. This is my sneaky archer character. He doesn't care if he's the Dragonborn, and may never answer the summons of High Hrothgar unless he gets bored. He will, however, lie, steal, and murder his way through the underbelly of Skyrim. The third character I have is a half-orc named Bruno, and he is a dual-wielding fighter. He is relatively new to the game, and he is most likely to gravitate towards someone like the companions. He has no use for sneaking, and he always charges into battle with both his weapons drawn. He doesn't weigh the odds, he just likes to charge into the fray and let fate take its course. He is enthusiastic and willing to jump at most opportunities, but he will never be in the Thieves Guild because he would never be sneaky. I'm still working on developing him more completely, but that is part of the fun of role-playing. These characters have different motivations, they will go to different cities and have different adventures, they will probably settle down in different places and call different places home. Esper is looking for a place to call home where she will be accepted. Persykins would love to show off a display of wealth, and Bruno wants to be someplace full of adventure. It'll be interesting to see where each one ends up. It's fun to play the game as these characters and make decisions as these characters and not have to follow a narrow path the game has set before you. You can create your own stories in Skyrim. It really helps that the game has been given extended life through the modding community, and one of the best mods you can get is the random alternate start, that at least allows you to build multiple characters without having to go through the same wagon ride and Helgen attack every time you play. You will start in a random place in Skyrim, and you can still interact with the main story, but the random start will definitely make it much easier to formulate your own backstory. So I challenge players to fire up their copy of Skyrim and go make a new adventure, and for those of you that haven't played it, maybe it's about time you pick up a copy.